Oh my god! Look at your boy with the fresh new cut! Spoiler warnings for any non-manga readers of One Piece. You have been warned. Now recently, I did a video about Zoro and Zoro's fate based on new intel, new information in the latest chapters of One Piece. So watch that video after this video, because for this video, now it is time for my main man, Vinsmoke, Blackleg, Stealth Black, Osoba Mask, Sanji, third son of the Vinsmoke family and one of, if not the best written Straw Hat in the series. If you want a video on that, let me know in the comment section down below, because I can go into full details to why Sanji is that damn good. However, I want to say this first and foremost. We, the One Piece fandom, at times we do dub Oda Goda, and mainly of course based on how impressive his writing can be at times, without a doubt. His foreshadowing is second to none. And, like it's Easter holidays, he leaves trails of jelly beans for us the readers to find and follow. Albeit at times, they're hard to find, these trails, but these trails do exist, especially when it comes to the already created, established content we have in the earlier parts of the series. A lot of times, these trails lead to major comebacks later on in the series, and I believe this is what we have going on for Sanji's fate. And it's always been the case with Sanji's fate, I think, for a very long time, arguably since the beginning of the series. So before we slap on our raid suits, if you enjoy the content I make, you'll be doing me a great solid by hitting the like button, by subscribing to your boy's channel, and clicking on the bell to join the notification squad. So, in chapter 1023, we get a lot of info pertaining to Sanji. First, we have Sanji talk about how after the second time he wore the raid suit, his body is feeling a bit weird. Not really bad, but weird, number one. And then number two, later on in the chapter, Queen says this. Mwahaha! Hey, Judge's son, I hear all you kids are cyborgs. He's a certified madman. Is that burning leg of yours a machine part? And then Sanji replies, sorry pal, I'm all human. Then Queen says, does a human burn like that? I know you ain't Lunarian. King, interested. Then Sanji says finally, I do. The heat of my passion surpasses the temperature of flame. Now this seems to go in lockstep with what Marco was thinking about at the beginning of the same chapter. What do you mean atop the red line is Mary Jaw? I'm talking about long before that. From what I hear, there used to be a land of gods up there. And in the previous chapter, chapter 1022, Marco talks directly to King saying, I've heard tales from long ago. Long ago in a distant land. About a race of people atop the Red Wall who could burst into flames. And here we have King the Wildfire. So based on what we can infer from these two chapters, it looks like Sanji can somehow do what the Lunarians can do. Conjure fire at will. Pyrokinesis, essentially. It seems to be a race-specific trait, like the fishman controlling water. We've even seen in the anime, King the Wildfire set his leg on fire, like what Sanji does when he knocked over the Chanter ship off of Wano Country. Now I wish the flaming kicks of King need to be matched! But Oda, unfortunately, had different plans in mind. But how is that possible, though? How? How can Sanji, who was considered to be a Germa failure for not having any superhuman abilities at birth, like his siblings, have ancient red line Lunarian abilities? That's pretty intense. However, the thing here is this, I don't think it's just the Lunarian thing. And what we're getting is going to be, I think, just the tip of the iceberg for Sanji. This is where Goda Magic comes into play. And people have been deliberately ignoring these aspects of Oda's writing for years. I think that what Oda is setting up for Sanji in this arc, similar to Zoro, is going to be the foundations of their new powers until the end of the series. So what I'm going to do right now is tell you a story. Let's go on a journey, a tale of memes, a tale of passion, and A Tale of Blood to truly understand what is going on with Sanji. First and foremost, The Tale of Blood. In order to make this all make sense, we first gotta go away from the supposed tie to Lunarians and his pyrokinesis. Sanji is Germa 66, no matter how much he hates his family. The fact that Sanji had a raid suit made for him in the first place is proof of his blood family ties still being relevant. Furthermore, the raid suits themselves are locked by their DNA/lineage factors, meaning that only Sanji could gain access to the raid suit powers, despite Luffy and Chopper trying to put it on when Sanji first got it. So after the second time Sanji wore the raid suit, which was inside the bathhouse where Nami and Robin were, Sanji has been feeling off since then. So the important question here is, how can the raid suit change Sanji's body? What is a raid suit? In chapter 869, when all of Germa put their raid suits for the first time against the Big Mom Pirates, we see how they're able to withstand fire attacks. In the anime, Naotoshi, oh man, Naotoshi pops off in the anime. It is an excellent shot, no doubt about that. And after their very sexy transformations, we see Peril Sparrow call their raid suits in the manga memory armor, and it's flameproof too, to boot. Now the raid suit does have basic abilities, a few basic abilities, but what's most important here is the individualized abilities of the raid suits, like their Devil Fruits, but it's all tech. After they put on the raid suits, we see the Germa kids attack several officers of the Big Mom Pirates. But the one I want to focus on the most right here is Neji. Neji fights clashing with Oven using his electric blue, and he kicks Oven to save Chopper. However, we know prior to that chapter that Neji could use his electric powers without his raid suit. We see it when Sanji fights against him in the clone lab after Neji beats up Cosette. Neji uses an attack on Sanji called Henry Needle, where he electrifies his knee. Neji is not bound to use his electricity via his raid suit. It's a natural ability that Neji has, and the raid suit, like with his Lightspeed sword, the Henry Blazer, just amplifies what is already there. The same logic could potentially be used with Yonji. But the idea still applies when it comes to Neji, clearly. So to me, that means that the raid suit brings out the biometric abilities of the users it's synced with. The reason why Sanji was feeling weird and is going through a second puberty is because of that reason. The raid suit is bringing out the latent abilities, the latent biological powers from within Sanji. But ideally, and I'm gonna say ideally for me personally, ideally, this is not Sanji's fire, at least just yet. I think the most logical and safest bet is Sanji's superhuman Germa enhancements are coming out of the woodwork, mainly his Germa exoskeleton or outer skeleton. There is evidence for this, and this is where Gota is gonna sprinkle in that magic. Here we go. Oh man. In volume 84, the volume where Luffy, Sanji, and Germa are in the cover, the last question that Oda answers in his SBS corner was about the Vinsmoke kids and their blood types. Ichiji, Neji, Sanji, and Yonji all have the same blood type. It is SRH-. The RH- in IRL means someone's blood cells lack the RH, the rhesus protein. Like a peanut butter cup, Reese's. Look, yo, I am not a bio major. I failed. Boo, you stink! Bio in college. I failed bio in college. So I'm not even gonna try to go any further than that. Any bio majors, any doctors in the comment section, have at it. go for it.
Please help me.
But what is interesting is how blood types are viewed in Japan, because it is believed in Japan that blood types can also predict someone's personality. Wow. 3 of the 4 brothers have the same emotionless and cruel personality. If Sora, their mother, if she didn't do what she did, Sanji would have turned out just like them. However, ooh, Oda's crazy.
Goddamn right.
This is not the first time in SBS where Oda had revealed Sanji's blood type. We actually get this intel from Oda at the end of Fishman Island in volume 66. Germa Double Sixer. Ah! The pieces. Again, Oda's crazy. Whatever's going on here, it's cuckoo. But it works. It just works. In this SBS corner, Oda gives us the blood types of the entire crew, including Sanji. He is the only person with the SRH- blood type. Plus, one of the core themes of Fishman Island from beginning to end is about blood. And even though it got on a lot of folks' nerves, including myself, I'm not gonna lie to you. Sanji had a blood situation in Fishman Island with the mermaids and his pseudo all blue. Sanji's massive blood loss in chapter 609 is when Chopper reveals his blood type is SRH-, a particularly rare blood type. Now, he got saved, so shoutouts to Splash and Splata in the next chapter for saving our boy, because they're the real ones. They're the real ones, for sure. No! But even in volume 66, Luffy was losing a lot of blood at the beginning of that volume, and he was on the verge of death if not for Jinbei sharing his blood with Luffy, because both Jinbei and Luffy are blood type F. Now, to be fair, you could argue that Sanji, in order to go through this puberty that he's going through, he needed more time with the raid suit. And that is a fair argument. However, now we go full cycle.
And now comes the interesting part.
What did Sanji say in chapter 1023? The second time he wore the raid suit is when he started to feel weird. It just so happens that when Sanji was wearing the raid suit the second time round, because of Nami's help, there was a lot of blood all over his raid suit. The key is in the blood. Blood, blood, blood. The memory armor that is the raid suit probably got enough lineage factor material from Sanji, bypassing the need to hypothetically spend more time with it, and just like the other Germa boys, with their blood types being RH- blood types, it started to modify Sanji's body from that point onward. Yo, Oda's crazy, man. Again, it's all hypothetical. Let me emphasize that. Hypothetical, of course. Sanji's, okay, let me still do that. Sanji's situation with Germa 66, I don't think it's over by a long shot in the story. Not at all. I think Oda has something very big set up for Sanji that involves Germa and literally, quite literally, the end of the series. Sanji coming to terms with what he is, I think is very important moving forward. Therefore, I think him getting an outer skeleton or other Germa-like power-ups from the raid suit is another step in that direction. But there is another option other than the Germa enhancements, exoskeleton, super strength, or not just another option in of itself, but maybe on top of all these other Germa aspects. And what is that? the divine flame. Oh, it sounds biblical. It does. So now let me tell you a tale of passion. I feel like Shakespeare. God, let's get it. Let's get it. Once again, in chapter 1023, during Sanji and Queen's conversation, Sanji states that he is able to make fire because of his passion. The heat of his passion is hotter than the temperature of fire. This, I think, is a direct, an absolute direct callback to Oda's words in SBS Volume 44. When someone asked, why didn't Sanji get burned after using the Devil Egg against Jabra, Oda responded by saying that Sanji's heart actually burns hotter than the Devil Egg itself. This is pivotal, very important, I'd argue, because the core way Sanji has been using his fire from pre-time skip to post-time skip has changed dramatically. Because we all knew that back in the pre-time skip, Sanji was a Beyblade. He let it rip, and the friction and the fire was there, and it was real. But now, Sanji can combust. He can conjure the fire at will. At will. Since chapter 605, when Sanji first does the grill shot, in this case, underwater, under a lot of water pressure, Sanji somehow was able to make his leg flare up. In the anime, it's weird. He spins around using the friction of the water. A bit weird.
I don't get it.
So what's important here is Sanji's, of course, relationship to fire, because we don't fully understand it right now and what it truly is. For example, there was an idea I thought about years ago where Sanji's fire was a unique hockey ability. Even Smoker notes this when they fight each other in Stampede the film. But we do know from the very beginning that Sanji was never afraid of fire. In chapter 55, when Sanji fights Pearl, everyone is shocked that Sanji can recklessly attack him despite him being covered in flames. Sanji then states that it is dumb. It is really dumb for a chef to be afraid of fire. Even when Sanji first attacks Pearl, the panel that we see looks like a modern day devil leg. So from chapter 55, the devil leg was hinted at. You could argue that easily. We've also seen how his emotions affect his fire. Because when Sanji first heard that Nine was getting married in chapters 459 and 460, he flipped out and he became immersed, completely covered in fire. When he was remembering the tragedy, the biblical level tragedy that is the Kamabaka Kingdom, he activated Hell's memories for the first time. When he fought against his father Judge and finally had the will to take him down, the fire around his foot intensified in that moment. For some time now, we've seen Sanji's emotions affect his fire, and normally it's his rage. Like the Hulk, when Sanji gets pissed, the fire rages even stronger. And from here, we can circle back to the latest chapters of Wano Country again. Because Marco, again, talks to King about a race of people that used to live on top of the Red Line and conjure fire. The moniker Wildfire may have a double meaning here, where wild refers to natural, born with the fire. The ability of his race is. Ooh, I sound like Yoda. Ooh. Oh, from Shakespeare to Yoda. I love it. Yo, it's the cut. Yeah, hell yeah. My God. The cut changes a nigga. Make no mistake.
Hey, I appreciate you, famo.
His fire is also potent enough that it seems to be superior than normal fire. And we know this because his divine/imperial fire, flames, could clash with Marco's Phoenix fire, no problem. Compare this to Marco vs. Big Mom with Prometheus. Prometheus couldn't stand up to the Phoenix fire. We also see in the latest chapter of One Piece, 1027, that King is hyper aggressive against Zoro. At the end of the chapter, King makes it clear that what Zoro has done is unforgivable. And furthermore, Queen did call King a sadistic pervert when they were first introduced And we're getting, I would argue, glimpses of that now. When you think about King's natural abilities of fire control, his fire being more potent than regular fire, and how upset he is at Zoro for Zoro cutting his mask, it does remind you of Sanji in many respects. It definitely does. Especially the Zoro rage bits. Yes, sir. Yes, it does. Sanji's soul burns hotter than fire. He is a person of great emotion and passion, and seemingly can conjure fire at will.
It's all coming together.
Now we have to remember Neji for a second, because Neji, his abilities of electricity also seem natural because of the lineage factor manipulation, obviously, and he doesn't need a rage suit to use them. This is very similar to the Mink and their Electro. If Neji's lineage factors have attributes of the Mink within him and their abilities, then we can apply the same logic to Sanji and his fire. So based on this information, it looks like Sanji's fire abilities are something that are innate to his DNA/lineage factors, since we know the Vinsmoke snail boats can cross the red line, and Judge has been a part of Mads doing all sorts of experiments. It's not hard to believe at all that he could have spliced/augmented his kids with DNA from rare and powerful races. Now, if we take the idea of Judge using the Vinsmoke snail boats to climb the red line, and then they spend some time in the red line, what's very fascinating is when you look at King's design, he has these skulls on his design. The same thing applies for Sanji as well as Neji, where they have skulls in the middle of their belt. Yonji has one too, but his is designed a bit differently. And what's also very odd too is City of the Rain has a similar design on his new outfit as well. In the pre-time skip, it's not there. And City of the Rain just so happens to have an ability that Sanji wanted when he was young, ever since he read the Duffoot Encyclopedia. So there could be visual hints that Oda has sprinkled in here or there to show that there are connections in some way with these individuals and or these groups. The fire that Sanji has could be partly Haki related, maybe, because we do see how it kind of does work in some ways like Haki, yes. But it could also be something that is natural of the divine imperial flame of the Lunarian race. Divine imperial fire could act similarly in many respects to Armored Haki and beyond. Woo! It's sexy. It's hot. No pun intended.
Wait.
Monkey wrench.